Just how are you guys able to go down to Indianapolis and take care of business in week one?
We just executed the scheme. We had a game plan and we just stuck with it. We played 4 hard quarters of football, and at the end of the day, we won.
Of course, Snider fell behind early, but you guys responded. After you had that first little bit of adversity, what was going in the minds of that huddle, that sideline, as you guys were trying to respond to that early lead from Warren Central?
We just kept on telling everybody we're going to have to fight. This team's not going to lay over, and we're going to have to overcome the deficit and put some points on the board and get some stops on defense, turnovers, stuff like that.
A big thing that Coach mentioned was you go from being under the radar to being the guys. The target is on your back now. How do you handle this, just knowing you've got a huge game on deck coming up with East Noble?
I think if we just do what we do best and just practice hard and get our game plan down and execute on Fridays, it won't affect us.
Speaking of East Noble, of course, you guys are just starting practice this week, but what has Coach Tippmann and the staff been telling you about your opponent coming up on Friday with East Noble?
It's a tough football team. They're going to play 4 hard quarters of football. They're going to hit you hard every play, and we just got to be prepared for that. It's going to be hot out. It's going to be a rough, physical, hot, draining day, but we'll be ready for it.
Final question for me, what are you most looking forward to as you make the trip up to Kendallville this Friday? Going to be a great atmosphere. The folks at East Noble always pack the stand, so what are you looking most forward to?
I just want it to be like a lively atmosphere, get the crowds going, and just have a good football game.
Just how are you guys able to take care of business, get off the bus after a 2-hour road trip, and really take it to perennial power in Warren Central?
This week, going 2 hours down the road and things like that, it was nothing Snider's not used to. We did a lot last year, especially going into the playoffs and things like that. So something we prepared for all summer, and we rose to our level of preparation.
You guys fell behind early in that first quarter, but how did you respond to that early adversity, just knowing you were in a tough environment on the road on Friday night?
We kind of just, put it behind us, and, a game like this, you got to have short memory. We kind of just, told ourselves, let's not get in our heads, let's continue to play Snider football.
So you guys go from being under the radar to have that target on your back after an impressive win from last Friday. How do you handle that success, just knowing the target is going to be on your back when you go to East Noble on Friday night?
Handle it the same way we handle everything else. Continue to play our football, continue to play and execute the plays the plays that the coaches give us, and executing, doing what we're coached to do.
Of course, it's early in the week, but what has the coaching staff told you about your opponents so far this week with East Noble coming up?
They play hard, they're tough, and they're going to come at us, and we need to be ready for that.
Of course, and just knowing that this is also going to be our Highlight Zone game of the week this Friday, what are you looking most forward to as you make another road trip to another incredible environment with East Noble?
I'm looking forward to having a good atmosphere, and just being able to line up with my brothers. This being senior year for a lot of us means a lot.
Coach, coming off Friday night, what were you most impressed with how these guys responded?
Well, I think, always the first game of the season, there are lots of question marks. You don't know how you're going to respond in a game. You don't know how the new guys that are, playing on a Friday night in meaningful time, how they're going to react to what we call the fray. And certainly driving down to Warren Central, one of the elite programs in the state, we were going to be in the fray. And so we just had lots of questions, and that's what the purpose of these non-conference games, to answer those questions, to be tested, to face adversity. And so we as a coaching staff couldn't be more proud of the way our guys handled it. Both the physicality of the game, they're one of the most physical teams, I think, in the state. They were big, experienced on the offensive and defensive line, very talented, and we held our own and did a good job in that regard. And then to also face adversity. We were down, didn't do much right in the first quarter. Offensively, we struggled to block their guys and turn the ball over, and gave up a punt return for a touchdown, and things weren't going our way, and really our guys didn't flinch. They didn't get down. They didn't bicker on the sideline. It was just very even keel, business-like, very mature-like, and that's something that we as coaches were eager to see how we would handle. And I'm kind of glad we faced that kind of situation. And we responded very well to it. Just kept the plan, kept executing, kept playing hard. We made lots of mistakes, execution mistakes, And as you probably, are going to expect in game one, but we kept playing hard and fighting. And those were the things we as a coaching staff came away most impressed with.
You turn the page now, going to East Noble this Friday, and one of the big messages that you had to your guys was, how are you guys going to handle this success? Because you go from being under the radar to having that proverbial target on your back. How do you go about handling those expectations now that you pretty much put Northeast Indiana on notice?
Well, I think anytime you're in that situation, you turn on the film of who you're playing and you get a real, urgent message of how well you have to play. And when you watch East Noble play last Friday night, they were dominant and very physical, executed things at a high precision level. And so when you watch that, you better be ready to play or, things are going to turn south quickly. And so I think the biggest thing is just watching the team you're going to play and realizing how good they are and the necessity of our guys to play really well and to have a good plan, and that's our mindset here on a Monday.
You mentioned cleaning things up after the win at Warren Central. What are those things that you're trying to harp on this week, knowing you've got another tough test on Friday with East Noble?
I think defensively it was tackling, and more physical and just components of our tackling analysis that we do that we know we got to get better at. Offensively, sustaining blocks, those are always things that occur in game one that you got to concentrate on. Very few scheme mistakes, which speaks to the veteran part of our team on both sides of the ball and their willingness to learn and be attentive all summer as we've put in the scheme. So more of the physical things, and then just the variables that happen on any given play and something that's out of the ordinary, being able to react to that in the right way and handle it in the right way.
Final question for me, Coach. Your game at East Noble is going to be our Highlight Zone game of the week. What are you looking forward to the most as you guys go to another opponent that you rarely see in such a great atmosphere, too, with East Noble?
Well, this is one of the cool things about this new schedule is you get to play teams that you've never played before. We've never played East Noble, never played up there. We have a ton of respect for Coach Amstutz and their program. We've kind of done some things in the summer with them with the new rules in the past 8 to 10 years, and really have become fond of the way they do things. Always, when you do stuff like that with programs in the summer that maybe are very similar to your program, you root for them in the season and always keep a watchful eye. And we've done that with East Noble and have a lot of fondness for the way they do things. And it's even a special opportunity to then now go up and play and what everybody says is a great atmosphere. We'll bring a big crowd and should be one of those memorable type of atmospheres on a Friday night football game that our high school kids should remember. And that's what this is about, creating memories and playing with your teammates. And hopefully good things will happen and it'll be one that we can remember with a win.